Good morning children. Welcome to the online class. In this class, we will learn about India, the relief features. Okay. In this India relief features, we have 6 physiographic features are there. The first one is Himalayas. The first one is Himalayas. It is in arc shape with the 2,400 kilometers distance. It is in the arc shape with 2,400 kilometers distance. That covers northern part of our India, and it acts as a natural barrier for our country also. Without Himalayas, we can't expect India as an agricultural country. And one more interesting point about Himalayas is it is the example of young folded mountains, and by the deposition of this Himalayan rivers, here the south of the Himalayas we have a Indo-Gangetic plain. What is that? The south of that Himalayas we have a Indo-Gangetic plain. It has 3 parts. That is, in the western side we have a Indus, and in the central part we have a Ganges part, and in the east side we have a Brahmaputra part. What is that? Brahmaputra. Okay, because of these rivers, particularly Ganges river, the central part of our India became a fertile land, one of the fertile land in the world only. Okay, and next that became a northern plain also. Then next to south of this Ganges and north of the Narmada river, we have a plateau region here. What is that? Plateau region. We call this as a peninsular plateau. What do we call? Peninsular plateau. Before going to learn about a peninsular plateau, we have to learn about a peninsula. What is a peninsula? A land which is surrounded by water on 3 sides. We call it as a peninsula. India is a peninsular country only because we have our country is covered with water on 3 sides. So it is named as a peninsular plateau because the 3 sides are covered with water. Okay, peninsular plateau. This peninsular plateau consists of all crystalline, metallic, metamorphic rocks. It consists of crystalline and metamorphic hard rocks. Okay, and it again divided into 2. That means it is separated. It is divided into 2 parts again. That is here now. The eastern side we call it as a Chota Nagpur plateau, and in the western side we call it as a Malwa plateau and Chota Nagpur plateau. Among these plateau areas are rich with metallic and non-metallic resources. And in this, we won't observe any perennial rivers. These are all rain-fed rivers. In this, Chota Nagpur is very rich in mineral resources. The south of the Narmada, there is a triangular plateau that we named it as a Deccan plateau. It is in the shape of a triangular. Okay, and Deccan plateau. It is in a rain shadow region. We have to know it. It is in rain shadow region. Okay, and it is the first physical feature, no? Himalayas, and Indo-Gangetic second, and Peninsular Plateau is third. Next, fourth feature, that is coastal plains. We coastal areas. We have lengthy coastal areas. We have eastern side and western side. We have a lengthy coastal line. These coastal lines, based upon the areas, we named into 3 parts. we named it 3. That is, in the west side we will see the first part, that is the Konkan coast. Konkan coast. Next, Canara coast. Where Konkan coast consists of Maharashtra and Goa, and this Canara coast consists of Karnataka and next one, last one is Malabar coast. Kerala state comes under this Malabar coast. And in the eastern side, if you observe here, the Odisha part comes under Utkal, and Andhra comes under Sarkar coast. Why we got Sarkar? Because in the British time, the coastal districts of Andhra Pradesh, they named it as a Sarkar region. So, in the honor of that only, it is named as a Sarkar coast. And the Kaveri Delta, which comes under, and the Tamil Nadu zone comes under Coromandel coast. Coromandel coast. Coromandel coast. And these are, when compared with the western coast, to the eastern coast, western coastal plains are narrow plain, and eastern coasts are fertile and somehow wider than the eastern coast, because all the Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri deltas made these coastal areas fertile lands. Okay, that's why. But these are also perennial, but these are rain-fed rivers. These coastal peninsular rivers are rain-fed rivers. Okay, next we have a Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Western Ghats start with the run of Kutch to Nilgiri Hills, whereas Eastern Ghats start with Mahadev Hills to Nilgiri Hills. These are Western Ghats are parallel to the western coast, and Eastern Ghats are next to the eastern coast. Western Ghats, they are the continuous range of hilly areas, whereas Eastern Ghats are they are not a continuous range. They are divided by the way of the rivers flowing in this region. Okay, and here these Western Ghats join with the Nilgiris. Here the highest peak in this Nilgiri Hills is Dodabetta. What is that? Dodabetta. It is the highest peak in Nilgiri Hills. And afterwards here Annamalai Hills, Kadamam Hills are also there. In this Annamalai Hills we have a highest peak, that is Anaimudi peak. That is the highest peak in Annamalai Hills. And in the Nilgiri Hills we have Dodabetta is the highest peak. One of the summer resort which we call as a Ooty, that is only Udagamandalam. It comes under this Nilgiri Hills only. Okay, next come to the part of the eastern coastal plains. The average height of this is 900 meters. What is the height of the average the Eastern Ghats? That is 900 kilometers. And but the highest peak in Eastern Ghats is Arayakonda. What is that? Arayakonda with the height of 1600 meters. It is in Visakha agency areas. It is in Visakha agency areas. Here Nalamala Hills, Velikondala, Papikondala, Seshachalam Hills, all comes under this Eastern Ghats only. All this hills comes under Eastern Ghats, and they join with the Nilgiri Hills. Okay, it is about our eastern coastal plains. Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. Here, fifth one is a Thar desert we have. In our country we have a desert. That is a Thar desert. Particularly, northwestern part of major portion of northwestern part of Rajasthan comes under desert area. It has a very less rainfall with 100 to 150 centimeters per year. It is below below than a normal rainfall. So we won't have any proper vegetation in Thar desert because of this less rainfall. Here only one river flow through to us. This is a river Luni. River Luni. Recent 1970s and in 1960s, the government made one arrangement in the name of Indira Gandhi Canal. By that, thousands of acres come under cultivable land. Here we have, because of less, it is in the rain shadow region of, it is adjacent to Aravali mountains, so it comes under rain shadow region. It receives less rainfall. And last but not the least, that is the island group. We have island groups also. In eastern side we have Andaman and Nicobar Island, and in the western side we have Lakshadweep Island. We have Lakshadweep Island. Andaman and Nicobar Islands are formed by the volcanic explosions. So that's why we can say the origin of Andaman and Nicobar are volcanoes, and these are Lakshadweep Islands are corals origin. Corals origin. The southern tip of our India, which we previously Indira Point, which we used to say that Indira Point is in Andaman and Nicobar Islands only. It was submerged in the tsunami effect which has happened in 2004. That Indira Point was submerged. Okay, and this Lakshadweep Islands. These are coral origin, and it is a special variety of flora and fauna are available in Lakshadweep Islands. By knowing all this physiographic features and relief features of India, what we understood, India is a land of diversity, and so many climatic, so many differences, variations we observe, which we observe in a continent. That's why only we used to call India as a subcontinent. Whatever the concepts we observe in a continental base, in a country we observe. That's why only India is a subcontinent. Okay, thank you, children.